All right, so we're joined once again by my friend Alan Loving, UMC Volunteers Coordinator over there at the wonderful University Medical Center in Jackson. Thank you so much for joining us. This is our CCR class. We're in the Health and Human Services Career Cluster. I've got a room full here with me, and we're also recording this for all of our friends in Madison County Schools. My friends over at Rosa Scott, Madison Central, Ridgeland High School, Germantown High School, the Academic Options Center, and our good friend Mary Slaughter over at the Madison County Career and Technical Center. So we thank you so much for joining us. It's even better that you're a Madison County Schools parent and the spouse of also a Madison County school teacher. So thank you once again for taking some time for us.
Bro, you are so welcome. I love getting to do this. The more I can talk about what we're doing up here and let people know about how it can not only benefit the hospital, but also benefit them. I like win-wins, 100%,
All right, how
100%.
to
Kind of like knowing you, it's a win-win. That's good.
So I finally got my Promethean working now, so we got you on video in here, so awesome. All right, so
Nice.
before we obviously want to talk about all the great things that's going on in volunteer services at UMC because it's such a great program, it's such a great job you're doing. But give us a little background. Brandon High School. I played a lot of
Yes,
sports.
sir.
You were the mascot of Brandon High School. Went to Mississippi College, played soccer there. You were Chief Chalk. Always a real active person, big sports person. And just tell us about that journey and what type of career transition you had from there.
Absolutely. Yeah, grew up over in Brandon, like you said. Was bully, super fun. Got to hang out with cheerleaders, bonus. And also played soccer in high school. Loved it. I parlayed that into getting to play over at Hines. Played soccer there. Got a scholarship for that, and got the honor of getting to be the captain of that, and parlayed that into getting to go over to Mississippi College or Mississippi Christian University now, whatever you want to call it. And did yeah, I roll. But did Chief Chalk and did soccer there and loved it, and went from there. I was in ministry for about 30 years, and my journey is such that it's real interesting. It took a definite left turn in Albuquerque about 3 years ago. If you had asked me before 3 years ago what I'd be doing in another 10 years, I'd have told you that I was still going to be a minister. I was over at First Jackson. I was at First Clinton, in Alabama for a little bit at a couple different churches, and was the student minister at First Baptist Madison. Loving it, having a great time, seeing a lot of good stuff. Like you said, man, I'm so supported by my wife and my two amazing daughters. They're incredible. They're my world. But again, my world kind of got turned upside down a little bit. I was 3 years
Well,
ago
I want to
doing,
get to that, but I want to talk briefly about the church work.
yeah,
Um, because it's really interesting that people think church work, they just think pastor. But there's so many things that no matter what denomination you might be a part of, there are so many moving parts to making a church go that are behind the scenes. There's got to be people to put on the events. There's got to be people to fix the stuff. There's got to be people to graphic designers. There's got to be IT people. Broadmoor, Word of Life, First Baptist, First Methodist, Presbyterian, Catholic, you name it, they all have so many people behind the scenes. And, our friend Emily Oswald was actually an elementary school principal and parlayed that into church work. So it is not just something you got to go to seminary for. There are so many skills that are needed in church work that touch other areas.
absolutely. I mean, the traditional path of going from college to seminary to ministry is definitely there. And I would actually encourage that a little bit. The seminary path helps you get into churches, like you said, that are a little bit larger, that would have more opportunities. And you're right. I mean, okay, just for example, I was a pastor, I was a student minister, I was a college minister, I was a recreation minister, I was a singles minister. I mean, like I was middle school minister, I was senior high minister. I mean, you're right. There's all kinds of different opportunities, and especially with the way that technology and computers and everything are running the world. That's gotten in church work too. Used to be there wouldn't have been a graphic design, but lots of churches have that now. They have teams of that. Lots of churches have communication positions, just all kinds of different things. You're 100% correct there, in that it's not just the pastor. I mean, there's music ministers, there's children's ministers, there's students, there's like especially ministers like discipleship pastors. I mean, all kinds of different stuff. But like you said too, some of the non-traditional roles in a church as well, like you said, in media and communications and stuff like that. It all makes the world go round.
Yeah, and it's really cool. You know, you drive over by Jackson State, you see Greater Bethlehem. They have one of the coolest video boards I've ever seen, where they're actually playing video coverage of their service and running slideshows of some of the members graduating and things outside. And I'm like, somebody had to do that. So, you know, and that's a great part of their ministry they have down there in downtown Jackson. And I really wanted to hit on that because I have, kids have told me, I think it'd be cool to work in a church, but I'm not really a great speaker. Well, you don't have to be a pastor. There's a lot of great ways you can touch a lot of people. And again, all denominations, all size churches really looking for good people. Now,
Yeah.
like you said, 3 years ago, you had a life altering event.
Yeah.
That
And
that it is amazing. Yet you've turned a tragic situation into such a blessing and been able to, just really give opportunities to so many people and really kind of built your own program there at UMC. And I don't want to steal your quote, but you always say, "I'm one of the only people in the world that gets to work at the place that saved my life."
100%. Yeah, exactly. Like you said, 3 years ago, I was doing something I'd done hundreds of times, and I was blowing leaves and pine straw off my parents' house in Cross Gates in Brandon, Mississippi, and I got off their roof, excuse me, in a unconventional manner, I guess. Don't really remember what happened. Don't want to necessarily remember what happened because I don't want to close my eyes and be like, yeah, whatever. But a traumatic event happened. Like I said, got off the roof in a unconventional manner and apparently landed on my head, I guess, because I got this whopping scar up top there. But that's okay because chicks dig scars and glory lasts forever. That's right. And so my again, my from what I understand, my mom finds me, calls an ambulance, and I was rushed to UMMC here because we're the only level one trauma center in the state.
Yep.
And while I was here for 6 weeks. Don't remember a single thing. So don't do drugs, kids. It was I needed it, but I was messed up, Joker. I'm still a little bit messed up, but not quite as bad. But anyway, I'm here 6 weeks, and like you said, man, I coded 4 times while I was here, which means that like I was on my way to dying, but they kept bringing me back. So I guess you can call me Lazarus. And went from here to a place in Atlanta, Georgia, called the Shepherd Center, and UMMC did indeed save my life. The Shepherd Center in Atlanta, Georgia, saved my quality of life. They helped me really. I'm a positive guy anyway. I was not going to like spend the rest of my days in a hospital bed, turned on my side, just like collecting a Social Security check. I could not do that. I was way too energetic beforehand. Still have a decent amount of that energy. And but I was like, okay, too, I don't know about necessarily being a student minister in a power chair. And I don't say that negatively. I was just trying to be real, keep it a dollar and kind of like go, okay, what can I do? And started, really praying about that, and actually went for, my journey is really really crazy. Again, the accident didn't see coming, but I refuse to be somebody that's going to waste my trauma. And I would tell that to y'all too. Like, do not, when trauma probably will come into your life in some form or fashion. Some of it's many, as in small, and some of it's many, as in a bunch, and some of it's like whopping huge. Okay. But you don't have to waste that trauma. You can do something with it so that you can continue to go on and find a vocation and it is rewarding. I'll tell you, it was so rewarding to have happened. I interviewed for this job after. Let me back up real quick too. So I come back from Atlanta And again, I'm thinking about what I'm gonna do. I was like, okay, I think I'm gonna be a chaplain because I could go ahead and go to a hospital or work somewhere and go room to room, minister to people. I can do that. I can talk, whatever. So I'm on that. That's happening. And literally one day while I'm at my chaplain internship over at Baptist, this other guy was talking about how he interviewed for my job. And he was talking about it and talking about it and talking about it. And I'm thinking to myself, self, I could do this job. I think I could really knock out of the park being the manager of volunteer services over there at UMMC. And so, and I also knew that he didn't really want to stick around in the state and all that kind of good stuff. I'm gonna keep going, wrap this up real quick. But so we're going to our class, and I looked at him and I said, "Hey, look, there's no way this isn't awkward, but would you mind if I interview for that position as well?" It's like, "Oh yeah, sure." And he kind of acted like he had it in the bag. And so I said, if you wouldn't mind, I'd like to do that because I think I could do it. He said, sure. So I interviewed for it and I get the job instead of him. But what I was getting to was I remember getting the phone call. The lady that hired me, her name is Sky Stoker. She's since got another position in the hospital. Sky calls me up and offers me the job. And I remember the feeling of like it being so rewarding to be wanted, you
Yeah.
know? And so came here, been here about in January, it'll be 2 years, and absolutely love what I do. I get to interact with people on the reg, I mean, all the time. I'm meeting volunteers. Basically, what I do is I recruit, enlist, and then matriculate, a good word there, you can look it up later. People throughout the hospital to go and basically be nice. Lots of customer service is what we do throughout the hospital, at the front of the hospital. Folks come here, volunteer, and they become kind of the face of the hospital real quick. But yeah, getting back to the other, I would have never thought that I would be doing what I'm doing now. I would
That's
have
awesome.
thought that until I took my last breath, I'd be a minister in some form or fashion. And I just want y'all to know and really embrace the fact that your journey that you're on can can take a turn out of nowhere, but it doesn't mean that you have to uh, pack up all your stuff and go home. It
Yeah.
means that you're okay. Embrace the bump, embrace the change, and just see, how again you can use that trauma, or you can use the shift, or you can use whatever. I mean, like it. Odds are, a bunch of y'all like you'll have a job and something might happen. You might get let go. You might get fired or whatever. That doesn't mean that you're just done. It means that there's a shift. It means that
Yeah.
there's a turn. And it can be for the good because backing up real quick, I obtained my doctorate when I was in seminary, and my doctorate was in forming a greeter ministry in the church. And
That's
about
right.
90% of what I do at UMMC is greeter stuff. I would have never known that. No way. So,
Now, one thing I do want to talk about is you mentioned how it even blew your mind while you were doing your rehab at Shepherd there in Atlanta, the amount of different types of professions that you came across in a hospital setting, because we automatically just think doctor and nurse, but you dealt with all types of physical and occupational therapists. You dealt with engineers that were working with the machines. You dealt with nutritionists, phlebotomists, respiratory therapists. You dealt with a nutritionist because obviously some things were changing in the way you could eat. And that's just scraping the surface. You literally dealt with so many types of professions that have different levels of education, but are desperately needed for patient care all across this country.
100%. You're exactly right. Um, Now, I mean, there also in a hospital, and lots of folks don't think about this, housekeeping. Okay. There's like all there, we have a staff up here just in housekeeping, and I love hanging out with them and talking with them. They're great, 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 great people. One of the guys that's the kind of one of the managers of it, he actually is a Mississippi College graduate, He played football out there. He's fantastic. He'll come by and just make sure that everything's cool in here and that I'm getting taken care of. Is way more nicer to me than I deserve. But he's got a staff of people and they are consistently hiring. Okay. Then we have three cafeterias in this place. Like you said, nutritionists. I mean, and then in the sort of medical side of stuff, I don't think a whole lot of people know that like you said, beyond nurses and doctors, there's PAs, there's physician assistants, there's techs, there's all kinds of different stuff, all kinds of different levels. And the other thing is that's really cool. If you come and you work in a place like UMMC that's backed by the state, you get all of the state retirement stuff. Now, I
Yep.
know most of y'all aren't thinking past your next outfit. I get that. That's cool. But especially you ladies. Here's the deal, like the down the road stuff, so far as like a 13th check, which is like an additional thing that you would get. When if you retired from any kind of a state institution, stuff like this, PERS, all these things are great. Now, again, I know 30 years that you're like, what, 3 minutes, whatever. But it's really, really, really a great perk and a sort of adulting, real responsible thing.
Yeah, and beyond the patient care, and I know you have a hand in this and getting people experience at UMC, but there are literally every job you can imagine is in a healthcare facility. You have finance people, you have marketing people, you have interior designers that have to make sure the room is set up correctly. You have security, you have maintenance. And then a shout out to my friend Alan Grissett, who's the head of IT over there at UMC. He is, he doesn't know anything about saving somebody's life, but he knows everything about computers. And
Oh,
he even jokes. He even joked. I said, "What if the server goes down?" He said, "It can't go down." So, there's a need for tech people that are there all night long. And then, and a growing need that we've seen lately is a need for pharmacists. Pharmacists aren't in there doing the surgery, but they got to be people in the lab. Our friend Jonathan Lee, who's down there in the lab at UMC, making, before the medicine ever gets to the pharmacist, he's making sure it works. So there are so many moving parts and so many great careers that, some of them are cutting people open and seeing blood and guts. Other ones are looking at a computer all day. But there is so many great careers that are right there and right here in Jackson.
100%. And like you didn't necessarily mention this either, but there's folks in administration like that have business degrees, that have all kinds of different things. Like there's an entire section, they call it talent acquisition. It's the folks that help hiring HR people. And you're right. I mean, I can't even give out a band-aid, but I'm a manager here in this hospital. That's the deal. And I would say this too, when all of y'all out there, when you're seeking employment, another really key thing beyond, let work on your resume, work on that stuff. I mean, and volunteering up here is a great way to help you not only get exposed to all the different areas. You could be thinking you want to do one thing and come up here and volunteer in a certain area and be like, hey, you know what? I'm pivoting. I'm gonna do that instead. But beyond that, the next big deal thing, I think, when you're seeking employment is attitude. I mean, it's there's a guy named Chuck Swindoll. He's got this whole quote about how attitude's everything. And I can't relay it all back to y'all, but basically it's just saying like it's huge. And a good bit of the reason why I have a pretty positive, energetic attitude is because I got three things firing for me. And I would want this to be for all y'all. My faith, my family, my friends. I have a fantastic village of which I'm probably the idiot, but that's okay. I'll take it. And like that's helped me in my vocational path. It's helped me in my life and everything. And I still feel like I'm the most blessed guy alive. And it's because I've got those three things firing for me. And that again has helped me vocationally and let my journey be one that it's bumps, but it's not stop signs.
Yeah, and I really want to talk about. the volunteer services you have there because you guys have great partnership not only with the high schools but with Hines, with Holmes, Belhaven, Mississippi College, Jackson State, Millsaps, all
Yeah,
these kids that need internships. And you mentioned about your resume. When you're trying to apply to these programs, they're going to want to see if you have experience shadowing somebody. They want to see if you have experience working in a healthcare setting because they're not going to waste a spot on somebody that has no idea what they're getting into. They want people that have said, "Look, I spent a few hours a month following around a nurse, following around a phlebotomist, following around a biotechnical engineer, following around a anesthesiologist." And I learned about how their interaction was. Okay, well, we'd love to train you so you can get paid for that. So it really is such a great opportunity to build a resume. But it's not just the patient care places. You place volunteers in every aspect of that hospital. So if somebody wants to get some experience following around a financial person, you can put them over there. So talk about how all that works and why it's such a great resume builder for these kids that may want to get into the healthcare field
it's
or even just any field.
yeah, it's exactly what you just said. Like, somebody's going to want to employ someone that has had any kind of an experience in that area that you're going to. Okay. And like you said, we can put you like over in Children's Day surgery. Okay. Now you're not going to cut on anybody, right? All right. But you can sit behind a desk. You meet a lady named Miss Pat, who's up here, who's an angel, and you work with her, checking people in. You send people back. You're interacting with folks. You're finding out about the organizational side of stuff. You are connecting up with nurses and doctors because you're letting those folks go back. Like we've got an opportunity. To do this thing up here. It's called wayfinding, where you literally help people find their way throughout the entire hospital. Okay,
I
so
got
you
lost down
find-
there, and I had to find somebody to show me where I was going. That's a big
look,
place.
yeah, oh, it's a whopping huge honking place. We have over 10,000 full-time employees, right? So, so just for that, you got to have a bunch of space. That's not talking about the patients. That's not talking about the families. That's not talking, about volunteers and everything. Probably on any given day, we probably have around, you know, 13,000 people on campus, somewhere around there. And so, yeah. Yeah, you got to leave a breadcrumb trail sometimes to be able to get back where you've been from. But the deal is we do wayfinding and we equip our volunteers with directions on how to get everywhere in this hospital. So when somebody come and they walk in, everybody that comes here probably has a little anxiety going on. I mean, nobody wakes up in the morning and goes, "I can't wait to get to UMMC. Wahoo!" I mean, that surgery's gonna rock. I mean, you're probably not real fired up about coming here. Let's just be real, okay? Keep it a dollar, right? So when they come in, if we can help them find their way where they're going, it alleviates a little anxiety. That's really that's the sort of goal of us as volunteer services. We want to help alleviate a little anxiety for people, whether it's being in an area and again, checking them in, taking them back, greeting them right out the gate, being in different areas and helping out the nurses that probably need a little anxiety lifted too, because that's a really hard job. Okay.
Oh yeah.
It's so the opportunity to be all throughout this place is like it's just in front of you. The world's your oyster when you come up here to volunteer. We can let you help out with kids in our cancer clinic where you're playing games with them, entertaining them, or you're entertaining possibly their siblings while they're here. You can do this thing called Child Life where you go and again, you entertain kids that have been here either 5 minutes, 5 days, 5 weeks, 5 months. In this thing's called a normal room. If you're a gamer and you want to do video games, great. If you want to do Jenga, if you want to do coloring books, if you want to do crafts, whatever. The the thing about when you're a patient up here is, and I can speak to this because I was a patient for like half a year between here and Shepherd. Distractions are blessings because
Absolutely.
you don't really want to be sitting there thinking all the time about the bed that you're in, the side that you turned on or whatever, and so a distraction of a person or a distraction of a something is everything. And that's another thing that you can discover as you're up here. And again, that also helps you for those of y'all that do want to go into the traditional healthcare kind of stuff, it helps you with your bedside manner, because
Yeah.
that's a big deal too. You can help a person begin to heal with positivity, and that kind of thing. But it's also again attitude. I mean, again, if you're up here and you're working in IT, or you're working in hiring people, or you're working in the cafeteria, healthcare, whatever, it attitude is such a big deal. So
Yeah, and I'm glad you mentioned all those different areas because all of them are so important. When I had my health scare a couple of years ago, like even the guy that brought me my meal, I mean, after the crap I had dealt with all day, getting poked and prodded and everything, having a nice hot meal right there for me to eat was such a big deal. And I think he realized that he was a really nice guy bringing it in there. So there really is no small job that goes on there, and obviously at the end of the day you're saving lives. Everybody's not cutting somebody open, but every single person there plays a role in helping people get better and helping the families of those people that are getting better. And it is, got to be so rewarding to see all that come to fruition.
Oh, without a doubt. Look, when I was at Shepherd, again, I don't remember anything here, okay? But when I was at Shepherd, I had a physician assistant, a PA, okay? She, like, I think she worked every day. Her name's Kaya. And she is incredible, and I still am in contact with her. My PTs and my OTs, physical therapists and my occupational therapists, were incredible. I mean, they were amazing, and the folks that helped them, their techs, were incredible. Like I would see them daily, and like you're right, yeah. And the folks that were bringing me my meals, like you said, I developed a relationship with them too. I mean, it was you. It is so key that work is work, okay, and fun is fun. But when you can have fun at work is a big deal too. And yeah, I mean, there's like you said, all kinds of opportunities. You just have to grab it, and and
Yeah,
um and then when you're there, do your best. Wherever you are, be all there. So
yeah. And I forgot a really cool job over the hospital that I forgot all about. There's guys that at the loading dock, they unload all the stuff that comes in all day, and these guys are freaking ripped. So if you
shipping
if
and
you're a guy
receiving.
if you're somebody that likes lifting and moving stuff, I'm telling you, the guys at the loading dock, they are always looking for help. That is a
Oh,
very hard job, but those guys, man, those are the linebackers of the hospital.
that's right. Yeah, shipping and receiving. We've got a big old team of folks, and they're all cool as heck. I love hanging out with those guys.
Yeah. Now I do have some questions from the students. I love this first and this is Cortez Maxwell. He's in 11th grade. And he asked, since you've taken this role, what have been the biggest challenges or obstacles you have faced being someone that came from church work in the medical field?
Great question. Um, for me, I've always seen it as just kind of a pivot. Okay. Instead of having a consistent emphasis on somebody's spiritual life, I have a consistent emphasis on somebody's sort of life, the other side of things. Now, me and everybody else here can still do the ministry of kindness, can still do the ministry of making people feel like they're worthy, 100% there. But the biggest obstacle, I mean, I don't really feel like I've had any kind of no, there was a learning curve when I got here. I had to figure out, and I wanted to figure out really quick, how what was expected of me. Okay. Because I think that's a really good thing. You can't succeed if you don't know what your goal is, right? So
Wow, what a quote.
well, I appreciate that. Thank you. And so I had to figure out, from my CEOs and hearing from folks, okay, what's going to mean that I'm a success? And I figured out real quick it was making this area be all it could be, and then getting as many volunteers as I could, and getting them to come in and serve all the hours they could, because that's free good labor for the hospital, right? So I got on that, and we had when I got here, we had like 80 volunteers around there. And in 2 years, we've grown it to where we have over 400. And
Wow.
yeah, that was because a lot of recruiting and doing stuff like this. Like I do this all the time. Like I'll do these things. And by the way, if like if y'all are interested in volunteering up here, the way to get it started is go to our webpage. It's really easy to remember, umc.edu/volunteer. And then
Yeah.
you read about what we're about. And then at the bottom of it, there's a hyperlink. You click on that. That's the application. You fill that out, and that's how you get going. We would love to have as many of y'all within the sound of my voice to come and do this. I've spoken over there with Miss Slaughter at MCTC. We wound up getting about 50 or so volunteers out of that. High schoolers, I mean, I have so many more folks that are up here beyond med students and senior adults. We've got just, moms that are home and don't have as much to do. They come on up here. I've got guys that come up here that give me tons of hours. High schoolers all over the place. You can come up after you get out of school, or if you have early dismissal, you can come on up here and do that. We'll plug you in. You can once you've done it a couple times, you can then do it on the weekend. I mean, there's all kinds of different times for opportunity for you to be up here, and so that's hopefully
And
answers
you could find something for them to do.
100%.
I like this question. This is London Lott. She's one of our seniors, and she asked, "What is the hardest part about juggling all the volunteers?"
An Another great question. The hardest part is just getting them up here and getting them going. Because once you've done this once or twice, you're like, okay, I got this. But the to get it started, the initiation of everything, that's like you're pushing the boulder up the hill, but then once you're here, you just shove it down and get out of the way. And it's not destructive, it's great. But yeah, the hardest part is just I think the beginning, and we have really streamlined it though. It used to have a bunch of just sort of unnecessary steps, and I talked with my higher ups, and we are like, hey, how can we make this so this the easiest? What do we do when we figured out, how to remove a few things and how to make the forms easier and all that kind of stuff.
I like this question. This is our friend Modesty Carmichael, who's been up there volunteering with you guys. And
Yeah, Modesty, what's up,
this is a
girl?
great question. This is a great question. She asked, "How do you adapt and accommodate any volunteers that may have a similar disability?"
Great question. Um, we've got some folks up here that work that are in the same kind of physical situation I'm in. Um, Currently, I don't have nobody's really well, I take that back. I've got one or two folks that are volunteering up here that have some physical disabilities. And what we do is we just set them up to succeed, because like I said, it's not like you don't have to have a position up here where you're all over the place. We can put you to where you're stationed behind a desk greeting folks, and as they come in, you're kind of like their hostess for the mostest for a few seconds, and you get them back to where they're going. You swipe a badge and you go. I mean, you can. I mean, I work from about 8 to 6 lots of days. Okay, and I'm saying work, but I just really, really, really enjoy it. Most of my days, I'm here kind of behind my desk, and so to answer your question, we have different opportunities where well, I'll tell you another thing too. This is a physical disability, but we have a program here at this hospital called Project Search. And what it is it's this fantastic state funded opportunity where folks that have a learning disability can apply to be a part of this program, and we plug them in at different places. And volunteer services is one of them, where they come in here and they help me do everything from cleaning to straightening to delivering the snacks to just all kinds of the different things throughout the hospital that you can get to do. So I'm gonna find something for everybody to do.
Absolutely. I just got one more. This is Landria Wilder. She's our student council president, senior, wants to be a nurse. And she asked, how did the skills you learned in your rehab help you navigate through daily life?
Great question. I did everything from learning how to sit up when I'm in a bed, how to turn, how to get up and go. I learned how to do this thing called transferring, where like I'm one place and I transfer to another. Every day, what I do is when I wake up, I begin to get, dressed while I'm in bed. And then I sit up and I transfer from my bed to my power chair. And yeah, I had to learn how to do that, like through continuing to let my arms be all huge and buff, not as big as you, uh, 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 Mr. Paget. But anyway, so I figured out how to do that, and they taught me how to do that. My rehab taught me everything from, by the way, rehabilitation. I didn't have a drug problem. But my occupational therapist and my physical therapist helped me. Like when I was at the Methodist rehabilitation right there across from First Baptist Ridgeland.
Yep.
They went over like, okay, let's talk about how you can like wash clothes, how you can do stuff at the house with
Wow.
like loading a dishwasher, unloading a dishwasher, stuff like that. That I do, by the way, even though I'm a man. And help out my wife. That's key, by the way, guys, if you're listening. Yeah, I was like, okay, I need to figure out how I can do things like this, and because it's just important. And when you're somebody that has any kind of a disability, and really just in life, doing things that might seem small, but like that you need to do. And when I was in my rehab and stuff, that's what we sort of worked on, like how I can get to where I wanted to go,
Yeah.
and that was a big deal what we worked on, because I'm big on, don't we're not going to focus on what I can't do. We're going to focus. I mean, yeah, we're not going to focus on can't. We're going to focus on can. Because
Yep.
if you tell yourself that you can do something or you can't do something, you're going to be right.
Yep.
So focus on the can.
Yeah, and you also drive, which was a hilarious story about you thought you'd have to fill out some special form to get your driver's license, but you literally rolled up there in your chair, they took your picture and didn't ask any questions.
Oh, 100%. I don't know what that says about the DMV, but yeah, I literally, you're not lying. I'm rolling up in there and I'm like, okay, what do I need to do? She was like, smile. I was like, what? And so, yeah, smiled to my picture and got out of there. I was in there 5 minutes. I'm like, what? Okay, yeah. Yeah, you not notice this? But yeah, I've got this amazing vehicle again. Um, what I've what I've had the great privilege of since my accident is I've been really provided for through education of what you can and can't do, and then also uh, resources. I have this great car. I thought I'd be driving like a 1980s hoopty Astrovan, whatever. I got a black Chevy Traverse, all midnight package tricked out stuff, and beyond that, it also has like everything I do with my hands. So I'm gas, brake, all that kind of stuff, and I've also got this thing. It's a vulnerability package on it. What happens is I hit all these buttons on my key fob, and a ramp shoots out from under my vehicle. My vehicle tilts a little bit, so I got kind of a low rider, which is kind of cool. And I roll on up in there, get right behind the steering wheel, and I lock in like I'm on a roller coaster, and I go. And I
Yeah.
mean, it's just I found out about all these things. I didn't know about any of this, obviously, before my accident, but the resources and the education that I've received about my condition has been just so rewarding, so that I can have a window to the world in my chair and a window to the world in my vehicle.
Yeah, and that's another great technological advancement that these kids may be able to work on someday. They may be able to develop something that even makes your life easier. So it really is an area for opportunity that's never going to go away. Now we're almost out of time, and we thank you as always for taking some time for us. But a few things before we go. First of all, you did mention how to become a volunteer, but just run us through that again. Tell us just some of the basic requirements and what they need to do to get involved over there at UMC.
Excellent. Yeah, the easiest way to start is if you want to write this down, go to our webpage. It's UMC, only one M, okay? So umc.edu/volunteer. You can do that on your phone. You can do it from a computer. Tablet, whatever. Go there and you'll see our page, and it's got what we're about. It even has a few of the different listings of opportunities that you can read about. And as you continue to read, when you get to the towards the bottom, as you're reading in paragraph form, you'll see the words online application. Okay, and again, you're reading it, but the words on the application are literally a hyperlink. So you click on that, and it takes you to our application, and you fill that out, and it comes to me here in the office. And when I get that, we begin the process. And really, right after that is pretty quick. Again, we've streamlined it. All you have to do after that is come up here, get a background check, get a TB blood draw, sorry, poked and prodded that you talked about earlier, and a flu shot. We pay for all that. It doesn't cost you a dime to do any of this stuff, okay? So you do those, you're filling out the application, you're getting the background check, TB blood draw, flu shot, and then the final thing is you do an orientation with me where I just tell you about the hospital, I'll tell you how to check in, how to check out, and then you go. I mean,
Awesome.
you can literally do all that in a day.
Wow. That's awesome. And encourage anyone, for any classes requiring community service hours, if you want to go to med school, you want to go to dental school, you want to get into one of these health programs or any college program, these scholarships are going to love to see that. You guys are a reputable program. You got great partnerships with all the local universities and community colleges. Really encourage anyone to look into that. Now, the last thing before we go, you had a great quote a couple of years ago. I'll never forget it, because you talked about life's going to throw you obstacles. And as we get ready to celebrate Thanksgiving here in a few weeks, it's just so important for everyone to understand what they really have to be thankful for. And you said on the news that the light at the end of the tunnel is never a train. So no matter what you're going through, you've always got that ending, and that light coming towards you is the goal. It's not something that's coming at you to hurt you.
100%. Yeah. And that is how I live. Again, I tell people I'm the most blessed guy alive, and they probably look at me and go, "What?" But I mean, that's how I feel. Dabo Sweeney, the coach at Clemson, had a quote, and he said, "Look, don't let the light that shines on you be brighter than the light that's in you." And that's a that's a good one. And like you said too, the the light at the end of my tunnel is never a train. It's the next opportunity. It's showing me where I'm going. Light is a lot better than darkness. And that's where I want to live. I want to live in the light. I want to live there and kind of always asking what's next. Again, I don't necessarily live life in my rearview mirror. I live at my windshield. I utilize
Love it.
my rearview mirror, but I live in the windshield.
I love it. Well, I know you got to get back to work, and as always, thank you so much for fitting this in your schedule. And we'd love to have you on campus eventually. It's just so cool all the things you're doing. But my man, Alan Loving, Director of Volunteer Services over at UMC. Well, thank you so much for joining us today.
You got it. Peace out. Y'all have a great day. Good seeing you.
Go Tigers.
Yes, sir. We need it. Hmm.
See ya.